Hey guys, welcome back. It's Dan here with Treebeard Book Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. Last book in the first Law Trilogy. Let's get into it. Alright, The Last Argument of Kings. So last book in the first Law Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. Again, guys, if you like this channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to do a full spoiler review here. It's the third book in the series, final book in the series. I'm hoping you've read it, and we're gonna discuss it because I want to discuss it and get into all the things I liked about The Last Argument of Kings, and kind of see where if it fell down at any points for me, and then my overall ranking, and then maybe I'm going to talk about what I thought to the first Law Trilogy itself. So yeah, let's start breaking it down. I'm going to talk about some of the characters first because I really liked all the characters. So this book starts off right at the end, where before they're hanged, they've come back from their trip. So we're talking about the main, the characters here, like Jezal, Ferro, and Logen Ninefingers. They've come back from their failed mission up to the wilds to find this stone. And they're kind of going their separate ways. Logen and Ferro have had a falling out. Their relationship is over, and they part their ways, and they don't really kind of see each other again for the rest of the book, right till the end. So they go their separate ways. Jezal, he's coming back. He wants to be with Artie West, Colin West's sister. The first thing he does is really try and meet her and express his love for her. And as you know, Jezal's had a lot of growth in this book, and I think Jezal was probably one of my favorite characters in the end in this book because he had this growth, and as you guys know, if you've read the book, it's gonna be full spoilers. Where he has this relationship with Artie, and then the king dies, and Byars plays his card and says, "No, Jezal Dan Luthar, he is the bastard son of our dead king, and he is the rightful heir to the throne." And that just throws everything for a loop because there's all these like machinations kind of going on. Like once the king dies, they're like, Lecter Salt, and then like Morovia, and all these other like Lord Brock. They're all trying, like, vying for power, like who's going to be the next king. And then Byars, he's on the secret council. He comes in, he's like, yeah, there's this bastard Jezal Dan Luthar. He's going to be our king. And pretty much by unanimous vote, overthrows all these like political things that Glokta was doing, like bribing people, bullying people, threatening people to get salt votes, and it all just goes to crap for them. But it was really good. I did kind of like, once the ball starts rolling, you're like, okay, this is gonna happen. And yeah, Jezal gets made king, and he realizes, Jezal has a lot of growth. He became such a good character, but he kind of reverted a little bit back to his old self, where he's like, oh, I'm the king now. I can't be with Artie West. Like she's not queenly material and stuff like that. So, Jezal being Jezal, kind of reverts a little bit. But yeah, I really liked his character, and like he rises to the occasion. He becomes the king. He rises. The people love him. It was, Byars obviously, like, stacked the deck for him. Like, he stacked, like, laid him up and just played everyone for fools. And, yeah, so Jezal I really liked in this book. Logen Ninefingers. So we're going to Logen now. Logen is one of my favorite characters. I just love the dialogue with Logen. Love how he's described. Love how he thinks, You got to be realistic about these type of things. And, he's got all these great, like, one-liners, or these it's just these sayings where better to do it than live with the fear of it, and you got to be realistic about these things. So I like Logen. He kind of just reverts to the Bloody Nine, like and this is what happens with a lot of the characters in this book. They kind of revert, like they have all this growth in before they are hanged, and they kind of revert back to their primal selves, where Jezal kind of goes back to being a fop, but he still keeps some of that stuff he learned. And Logen just kind of embraces the Bloody Nine. Man can't kind of change his spots. And, he thinks himself to be a good man, but everyone's like, this guy's a monster. So, like, the one thing I was looking forward to, like, in all these books is, Logen reuniting with the Northmen, like, reuniting with the Dogman and Black Dow, and, like, Toldur Thunderhead and Harding Grim. And they're like, dude, we thought you were dead, and you're like, you're a monster. Like, the world was better off without you, kind of thing. And yeah, it's crazy. It's just, it's so good. But it was, you see this awe that they have for Logen, and how, the Logen we see is not really the Logen that everyone knows, because he was just a monster. Like, he brutalized people, and you see Logen fall into this blood rage several times in the books, where he would kill anyone in front of him. You're dead. Like, you just don't be in front of him, because he will kill you. And you meet this one character. He's like this chief in the north, and he's talking about some moon goddess, and the moon loves Logen Ninefingers, and he's helping the Northmen to like kill free the tyranny of Bethod. He's absolutely bat crap nuts. But yeah, so eventually, Logen leads the Northmen to, have pretty much a pincer move between the Union forces and the Northmen, where they kind of haul up in this like keep, and Bethod assaults them, and then they get the Northmen hold out long enough for Marshal West. He becomes Marshal because Jezal makes him Marshal, because they were friends back in the first book. And eventually they beat Bethod. Logen has a one-on-one duel with the Feared, which is it was crazy. Just like all the stuff like Logen does, like he just defies all the odds, and he's just a killing machine. Like, that's all he is good at, is killing, and he is really good at killing. So yeah, it's really good, Logen's POVs. But again, he still kind of just reverts to the Bloody Nine. They make him the king of the Northmen after he kills Bethod, like just bashes his head in, and he's like, "No, all right, boys, we're going back to Angland, because the Gurkish have invaded." So they're literally on the front door of Jezal in Angland, and it's just like this book was like really good build up, like really good build up for all these characters. Like, it's mainly focusing on like Jezal and Logen, and like a little bit of like Glokta was like in there. He wasn't as big as a character. Like, Glokta kind of gets stuck in a hard place, because a lot of the stuff Glokta doesn't really come to fruition, and like till right to the end, where he kind of like has to betray the Archlector Salt to or he's gonna get killed, pretty much, because like the bank's calling in its debts, and he realized like that his practicals like Frost and Vitari had betrayed him, and were kind of selling him out to like Salt and then the bank. So it was just like poor Glokta was left with nobody except for Artie West. He still has this companionship and this relationship with Artie, and yeah, it just was dark for Glokta, this book. But he comes out, he's one of those characters, like he slips and shit, comes out smelling like roses kind of thing, where he went through all this, and then everything, he kind of failed his way through it until he got to the top, where you find out who's pulling all the strings, and then it's Bayar's. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is Ferro, where she finds the stone in the house of the Maker, where where they look for it the first time in the blade itself. And so the book kind of comes full circle, and she uses the stone to like kill the Gurkish, kill the Magi trying to kill like Bayar's, and Bayar's just reaps devastation. Kills like thousands, like probably hundreds of thousands of people, devastates the city, devastates the Gurkish. And then you realize like Bayar's has been this this scheming master plan. He put Jezal on the throne, just removed the Gurkish from the map. Manipulated Glokta, because you find out that Bayar's is the head of Valentin Bulk, the bank, and manipulated Logen, and you just saw he was this master spider, spinning all these webs and pulling all these cords at the right times. And you really realize how malicious and evil he is. Like, but the thing with the end of this book, it was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. Like, you had all this build up, and then it kind of like, they win, and then it kind of fizzles out a bit. Like, they have this ultimate weapon to kind of beat them, and it shows you like the loss, and not everyone kind of gets what they deserve. Like, Colin West comes in, becomes Field Marshal or whatever his title was, and then he ends up getting sick and dying from, or presumably dying from this illness that this stone caused, and all this damage. So Characters you like and follow through the book have gruesome ends. Characters who you like don't get the end you expect, like with Logen and Jezal. They say, we're the most unworthy bastards to become king, and they become kings. And yeah, like it was a really good book. Joe Abercrombie again, just amazing prose. Just his dialogue is excellent. I don't think this one was as good for me as Before They Are Hanged. And it was weird because Before They're Hanged, like it's a total middle book where they're kind of plodding along, but his dialogue and his just everything that in that book was just really really good for me. So I think The Last Argument of Kings, like, it was a bit anticlimactic. I loved all the character work though, and I'm gonna give it a B tier. Bookshelf. It's gonna stay on the bookshelf. I love Joe Abercrombie. Really enjoyed it, guys. So please, comment down below. Let me know what you thought too before, The Last Argument of Kings. Sorry. Looking forward to, getting on to Best Served Cold. Don't know when I'm going to get into that yet. I might take a break from First Law for a bit, or, this world, and to branch into some other stuff. But yeah, finish that trilogy, First Law. Absolutely loved it, guys. Joe Abercrombie is one of my favorite authors writing. I'm gonna eventually do a ranking of my top fantasy series, and this is going to be right up there. So that's the review, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.